Okay, so it looks like we're live, although when I refresh there we go, perfect. Great. So we'll take a look to see who is joining us. Okay, we have good stream health. It's just turned 8 o'clock. So we'll wait to see who's going to join us on the right. In the meantime, we will get the link for today's agenda. (8:01), we'll just wait for a few more people. It's going to be a short session today because I'm streaming live solo today as my counterparts are currently on holiday this week. So, and as you all know, my Arabic is a little, well, it's still being worked on. So we're going to roll this in English today. We'll maybe give it 4 more minutes to see if others are going to join, and then we will start. I want to know if people can hear me okay. That would be a yes. Perfect. Using my new wireless AirPod Pros today. And sometimes there's difficulty when I do live calls, depending on the platform. So I also have it playing on my iPad right now just to see if there's sound and make sure everything is kosher. So we're also trying out new days and times every month to see what's going to be convenient. It works best for everybody. So if you are watching this stream at a later time than Friday evening at 8 p.m., then please let us know at the next meetup or the next training session later on in February so that we can try and pick a day. I know we've tried a Thursday before and a Saturday, and now today we're giving Friday a go. But I'm pretty sure we had the most participation on Thursday, which is strange because in the Middle East that's like Friday evening. But that's cool. So we've got 2 more minutes before we start. I notice we have a viewer with us. So if you'd like to let us know where you are joining us from in the chat, that would be awesome. And I've also hyperlinked the agenda for today's webinar in the chat session as well. So if you'd like to join live as we go through, you are welcome to. So while we're giving it another minute, we'll let you guys know that today was my first day witnessing a hailstorm in Amman, Jordan. They'd said that we could possibly get snow and different things like that, but I hadn't imagined hail. So it was like rain, hail, rain, hail. But it was interesting because we had this tree just outside the window. So as it was coming down, we could see the hail was like bouncing off the leaves of the trees quite intensely. It was funny to watch. It's been quite a few years since I've seen hail, so that was interesting. I'm not sure we're going to see any more snow though. It looks like the temperatures are going to go back up over 10 degrees next week, so we will see. All right, so we are 5 after 8 p.m., so we'll get started. So, good evening, Googlers, and welcome to GEG Amman's monthly webinar series number 3, which is the last day of the month of January. And it's going to be a short call today, because I'm alone and providing the webinar in English only, so there's no Arabic translation this evening. Um, my counterparts are on holidays, as in the Middle East, the local schools go on holidays this week. So, yeah, I hope they're enjoying their time off, and we definitely miss them. I'm really sorry if you're an Arabic speaker watching. I will definitely, you'll be able to ask us in person when you meet us next month if there's anything that you weren't too clear about. Okay, so let's get started. Here are the details for GEG Amman. So we do have a Twitter account, and we post there almost daily updates from Google for Education. So any releases or cool ideas for educators to incorporate Google for Education apps in the classroom in creative ways are usually posted there. We retweet them from their Twitter account, also from G Suite. So any feature updates or tips and tricks get reposted there as well. So definitely follow us on Twitter. We also have an Instagram account at GEG Amman, and it is posted weekly, a few times a week, waiting to see if anybody would like to help us out with social media so they can take that on as well. And we also have a Facebook group at GEG Amman. So if you have registered as part of the GEG Amman team, then you're welcome to request to be added to the Facebook group. There are several Google Educator groups or Google for Education groups on Facebook where Google for Education trainers and innovators post regularly awesome resources that they make for educators to help them using the tools in the classroom. So we try and repost those through the Facebook account as well. And of course, announcements and celebrations get posted through all the social media channels. And finally, we have our YouTube channel, which is where you're currently watching the live stream right now. And the channel is in progress. Actually, all of our social media accounts are a work in progress since we just started about 3 months ago. So we're not doing too badly, but eventually we'll get our playlist up and hopefully provide more tutorials in both Arabic and English to support educators using the Google for Education tools in the classroom. Okay, so then a little bit about me. As you know, my name is Georgie Nadine. I posted my Twitter, Instagram, and website if you'd like to follow me personally there as well. And really grateful to be able to share all Google stuff with everybody out there. If you're joining from abroad or local, then welcome. And for today's agenda, we're basically just going to review the January highlights, and then we'll look at some of the G Suite updates. And then we have a Googley-Treat. If you can take a guess what the treat is about based on the image you see in the screen, then you're welcome to post it in the chat. And then we'll finish off with a Q&A. All right, so for the highlights, we'll go to slide 5. And these are our January highlights. So we had a super amazing time this past month. We had a big event in the middle of the month, which was actually our first monthly training day. So, based on Google for Education being so new in the capital of Jordan, we want to make sure that we have available access to professional development support for as many educators and leaders as possible throughout the country. We want to be able to have a session, at least one session every month that's free for people to join, and we can provide additional support. So we're going to have that monthly at the King Hussein Business Park. I will send out the information about the date as soon as they have confirmed the date, but it'll be near the end of February. And we'll send out a survey so you can let us know what you would like to receive training on based on how far ahead you are since the last few sessions. And we might even break up the day between beginner, intermediate, and advanced training sessions just based on where everybody's at. So looking forward to that. So these are some photographs, highlights from the session we held in January the 16th. And as you can see, my counterpart Mutassim, who's on holiday right now, led the first 4-hour session, a beginner's introduction through Google Classroom. You can see that he had a bilingual activity on the board in the back here in Arabic and in English. I absolutely love seeing Google Classroom in Arabic. It's really pretty. So if you haven't had a chance, there's an image there for you to see it in action. And really nice center too, by the way, the business park. So it's really nice that they provide us to use that for free, as we're also a nonprofit organization offering support for education in the country. So it's really nice. We're really lucky to be there. And then I led a session myself at another school in the city of Amman for the afternoon. You can see the pictures on the left here. And we took a look at some applications that they could use to engage students, such as Pear Deck. So you can see there in the left-hand side, they were trying to draw plants on an interactive slide through Pear Deck. That was really engaging for them. We also took a look at Kahoot and a couple others. So everybody had a lot of fun learning, and hopefully they're going to be able to take some of those tools and share them with their students so that their students can have a lot of fun learning as well. We also want to say congratulations at this point to our 2 new trainers. Trainer Tamam, who's on the left here with her thumbs up in the center picture, and to Ahmed, who is the tallest one in this picture, and they just both became Google for Education certified trainers. They have been Googling, we could say, for quite a while now, but they have just taken their certification requirements, and so welcome. And please join me in congratulating them when you see them. It's quite a great accomplishment. There are lots of steps involved, and you have to be super googly to be part of the trainer team. So we're really lucky to have them. That now makes us 5 trainers in the country to help support. And of course, we would love to encourage more people that are Google for Education L1 and L2 trained to take that next step and become a trainer. I think we're in a really exciting period. Coming into the new decade, where more and more schools want to try and onboard with Google for Education, free for schools. And so we're going to need as much support as possible. So if you enjoy helping others, if you enjoy using Google for Education, and this is of interest for you, then please let any of us know so we can help you get training and set targets and help you get the ball rolling. And we also had 3 members who became L1 and L2 certified this month as well. 2 members from L10 Weir School and Ahmed from UNRWA schools on the bottom right here. So congratulations to those 3 educators who studied through the Google Teacher Center and took the certification. And that gives them the certification level for 2 to 3 years, depending on which one they took. So that's great. That really empowers them to be able to use the tools creatively and innovatively with students in their school. So this is a really great achievement, and we will be celebrating that at our meetup next month. So that's wonderful. Okay, so those are our highlights for the month of January. So now we are going to take a look at the G Suite updates. So we'll go to slide 6. Okay, so for the G Suite updates, there were quite a few this month actually, and there were some that were for G Suite admins only. So for those of you who are brand new to G Suite for Education, I have, which is most of the people in the country, I've not included the Google admin updates in this webinar today, just to not overwhelm everybody. However, moving forward, I would like to break up the webinar so that we go through the general updates and the education tips and tricks, and then if you are only an educator or leader and you would like to finish the webinar, then you can leave if you want, or you can stay, and then I'm happy to give the Google for Education admin updates at the end of the call for any admin users that are on the call with us tonight. So that'll be starting from next month or maybe March. We'll just see how it goes with schools in the area. If there's anybody joining us from abroad or internationally, then definitely please let me know in the comments so that I can make sure that I include that for next February as you're going to join us monthly. So let us know. All right, so as usual, Google is awesome. And the first update that they give us every month is the what's new for the previous month. So released on the 2nd of January this year was the what's new Google Doc slash PDF that includes all the updates that we discussed on the last call in one document that you can scroll through. There's a new update that's just come out as well where they include live updates in the document, and you should be able to search for them. I personally haven't tested that yet. I've been at a conference this month and it's been quite hectic, so I haven't had to go testing it. But I did read that that update is available, so do give it a go. And of course, remember please that if you see something is hyperlinked, you'll be able to find the link there to click on it to take you where you need to go. In this example, the image is also hyperlinked for you. All right, let's go to the second update. This will be changed to locations of booked rooms in Google Calendar. That's right. So down to slide 8. So this is interesting. For those of you who use Google Calendar a lot, I know that there are some schools who are not using Google Calendar to its full potential just because leadership often know exactly where educators are going to be. In primary schools, usually in the same room, and secondary schools also, some rotate, etc. But more and more, Google Calendar is being used across education in the Middle East by all. And one of the reasons that they use it is to be able to book out resources. So for example, a laptop cart, a trolley of iPads, extra projectors for different rooms, etc. Whatever the resource is, they can be booked here. And previously, rooms or resources were located according to this picture where you see add location. And it was quite confusing for people, as some people would go and type in like an actual geolocation like Amman or Cairo, Egypt, and it was actually giving you like rooms or resources. So now they have been moved, and now they will be located just under the guest list that you see here on the right. There's a little red box around it to show you an example. And so the change allows you to clarify specifically the geolocation of in the location field. so that there's no more confusion. So that release happened all the way up until the 21st of January, so everybody should be able to see it. If you are new to the webinar series Hangouts and new to understanding the G Suite updates, you should know that there are two types of updates that happen to Google for Education. There is the scheduled release, and there is the extended release rollout. So the extended or scheduled release basically usually takes 15 days or longer to release from a certain date or up to a certain date, giving Google a lot more time to get that rolled out to all the different domains, which are schools or districts around the globe. And if it is on a rapid release, it usually means that it's immediate or within a couple of days from the calendar date that's listed in the update. So the Google admin, the person who's responsible for the Google admin console at your school, is the one who will have set your G Suite for Education account up for either rapid release or extended scheduled release. So just make sure you check in with them to know where you fall. But either way, I would definitely say that usually by within half to a full month max, everybody should be rolled out, whether you're rapid or schedule. There are exceptions to every rule though, so definitely keep an eye here or on the What's New Google Docs and PDFs so that you know exactly what date everything's happening on. Okay, so let's keep going. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I am going to keep going. I'm just going to check in here and see. We do have 3 viewers. I know nobody's written in the chat, but if you want to let me know where you're calling in from and what your name is, that would be awesome. Would love to know who's joining us this evening. Okay, so let's go on to the next update, which is breakout a single value within a pie chart in Google Sheets. Yeah, this is really cool. So I also really love it when Google gives us GIFs so we can see exactly what's going on. Saves me having to make my own, so thank you, Google. Okay, so what is this? Basically, if you haven't seen this before, Google Sheets is basically for data, right? So if you want to plop in your grades, if you like any kind of information, basically has columns and you can organize it. So for students who are studying economics, like business or mathematical thing, anything like that, you can type in numbers and whatever values you have. Google Sheets gives you the option to provide you with charts so that you can present data visually to educators, to your peers, to school leaders. If you're working on a project, it's a really great tool to have access to. And if you're interested, actually, in learning more about Google Sheets, Coursera has a course on right now for as little as $29 for the course. There are 5 units. It only took me about I think 3.5 hours to get through the units. There's little videos, there's text to read, and then there's like a little unit multiple choice learning review at the end of each unit to take. So as long as you pass those, then you pass the course and you get a certificate. But it's really great because it gives you all the way from a beginner's view all the way up to advanced so that you understand how Google Sheets work. So you can take a look at that. And of course, if not, there's always the Google Help Center that will help you through anything you need. So with this update, basically before we could see a pie chart, and now we can actually pull out slices or pieces of the pie chart for effect. So imagine you want to be able to show your stakeholders or your teacher that, or even your students, if you're your classmates, if you're presenting and you're a student, that they can really pop out for effect. So as little number as da 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 da, and as big a population as, and it really gives an awesome effect, and it shows you exactly how you can do that on the right hand side. And I have also hyperlinked the Google Help Center link into the slide deck for you. So this is really awesome. Do take a look at that. All right. The next update, I keep looking over to the right to see if there's any comments or questions in the chat. I don't see any, so I'm going to keep going. All right. Update number 4 is more options for copying presentations in Google Slides. So we'll hop over to slide number 10. And this update shows us some really cool feature updates. So Google Slides, the most basic feature you can use Google Slides for, as you can see, is a presentation. There are many more you can do, as we talked about on the last webinar. But for those of you who are sharing a presentation, which is still an awesome feature to have, is you can now actually choose to only copy certain slides. So when you're copying an entire slide deck, before you would just make a copy of the whole thing. So now, maybe you only want to share a certain amount of slides with somebody else. Maybe you're an educator and you made this slide deck to train other teachers if you're doing teacher PD, but you only wanted to send some of them. So you can choose through File and Make a Copy. It allows you to select only the slides that you want to make a copy of. So I really do love that feature. And also you have the ability to remove speaker notes. So I know right now, I'm just gonna look over on the right. Yeah, you don't have, I've basically arranged the window for this live streaming. It's quite complex, by the way, guys. I have to remind you, I'm using this cool platform called OBS, and I'm linking it into live YouTube, and I'm recording certain windows in order to give you this awesome presentation. So I adjusted my speaker notes exactly at the height needed to present the slide that I'm talking to you on. However, at the bottom of these Google Slides, there is a section where you can put speaker notes. So if you're presenting, you're able to see the notes, whereas the people viewing the main screen are not. So now you have the option to remove those speaker notes from slides before you share the presentation. So this would be perfect actually for educators who have made a slide deck and have presented something and would like to share it now. Make a copy of it to share through Google Classroom, for example, as the learning management system for students to either have a copy or to remix and edit it themselves without having access to the speaker notes. So this is a really awesome feature. So thank you, Google for Education and G Suite for updating that for us. Okay, I still don't see any questions. We do have several viewers, so hopefully everybody's understanding and I'm not speaking too fast. All right, if you are joining, please go ahead and let me know where you're calling in from. And don't hesitate to stop if you have any questions, okay? All right, so the next G Suite update will be propose a new meeting time or add a note to calendar invites from Gmail. So we'll hop on over to slide 11. And this is basically a scheduled release 15 days starting from January 13th. So according to the date now, everybody should have access to this. Basically, when you open a Google Calendar invite from Gmail, you're going to see a new more options drop-down menu, and is going to give you the option to propose a new time for the meeting or add a note for an RSVP. So this is really cool, gives people more options. And when you select either option, you're going to have the respective event section in the calendar as well, where you can make those updates directly. So it's really really good the way they set that up actually. So if you are someone who is an avid Google Calendar user, obviously that will help you a lot in your day-to-day tasks. And there's a special note as well to say that that feature is only available through the Gmail web version. So if you're using Gmail on your mobile phone, like I do, it's not available for the app yet. It's just available on the web version. That's what that means. Okay, let's move on to update number 6, which is send emails as attachments. So this is one of my first one. Oh, someone is here. I have a comment. Ahmed, good evening, Ahmed. Ahmed, were you here when I congratulated your awesome achievement for becoming a trainer today? By chance at the beginning of the call? I hope so. If not, welcome to Ahmed, my fellow Google trainer who is joining from Amman. Maybe not Amman. Are you in Amman today? Ahmed actually works for a company here in Amman called iSolutions, and they provide a lot of Google for Education supports for schools and enterprises, as well as many other things. So if your school is interested in rolling over to G Suite, then this gentleman or even Tamam also is working for another company here. Either of them would be happy to help you with your rollout, I'm sure. So welcome, Ahmed, and thank you for joining. Okay, so we'll move right along then. So send emails as attachments. This is one of my favorite updates for the month of January. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to reference an email somebody in my organization has sent, and I either have to go and copy the text and copy it in or refer them to the date and the time that the email was sent. So now we have this super awesome feature where we can literally take an email and drag it into a new email and send it. What's really awesome is that it's not just one email. It's not set. There's no maximum. So as many emails as you need to send. Obviously, somebody opening up an email would not want to have to go through 50 or 100 emails. So obviously we want to be courteous for the receiver of the email. But just if you need to send a few emails in an attachment, you can. So you can either pop it out or drag it right in as it belongs to the bottom of your browser, and basically lets you send it. So I have linked in at the bottom the Google Help Center article to help you learn how to send emails as attachments. So yay, really exciting. Okay, so I'm going to assume now that you're typing, Ahmed, that if you have questions, you'll stop me, yeah? Otherwise, I'm going to keep going, okay? All right. Okay, so update number 7. Actually, Ahmed, now that I know you're on the call, if you want to wait around for any admin updates, we can go through that when we exit the live stream if you want. Just let me know in the chat, yeah? Okay, so update number 7 is review changes in Google Sites. So we actually talked about that, guys, on the last webinar in December. We actually reviewed 4 or 5 updates for Google Sites, which is really awesome. One of my favorite curation tools for educators, leaders, and students. It's just awesome what you can do with Google Sites. So with this update, we'll hop on over to slide 13. We talked about this was going to have an extended scheduled rollout. I believe it was in the middle of December. So they've actually pushed that back, and it started now on the 14th of January, but they said that it could potentially be longer. So unlike the rest of the updates, like we were saying at the beginning of the call, that would actually be rolled out usually by the time we give this webinar, this one actually could roll over into February. So if you don't see this update in your Google Sites, don't worry, it's coming. And just to review the update, since we're on it, it's basically the ability to review changes that were done. So, like in Google Docs, we have the view version history at the top and we can see who made changes when. It's the same idea for Google Sites. You can review the changes, but it's really awesome before it's published. So unlike in Google Docs, when you make changes, it's live on the document, right? It's not scheduled for later. So in Google Sites, unless you click the publish button, nothing is published, right? So whatever's on your site is live when you click publish. When you go and make changes, you have to click publish again for those changes to take effect. And with this update, you can actually review those changes on the left before you click publish. So this has been a really nice feature. And again, I've linked in the Google Help Center link at the bottom if you would like to read up on that. All right, we are almost there, guys. Number 8, use an iPhone as a security key for 2-step verification. Okay, so hopping on over to slide 14. The GIF, which again, I'm very grateful for Google that they've given me, really gives us a nice visual of what this means because it's a little bit wordy, especially if you're not coming from a technical background, which was me not too long ago. So 2-step verification basically is an added security feature for logging in. So usually, as you can see from the laptop, when you log in, you put in your email address and your password and you log in. Two-step verification means that Google's adding an extra step after the password in order to verify that it's you. Because sometimes, especially in schools, actually, it's really easy if you're working in a collaborative environment or you're working on 2 or 3 or 4 to 1 devices, and kids are sharing devices and close, it's really easy for people, to look over your shoulder or to look next to you to see your password. So this two-step verification is becoming more and more important as we go through time, basically, and security is becoming more and more important too, for many things, against phishing, people hacking your accounts, etc. So basically what it means is that with your mobile device, you would basically add an extra key, and you would need to verify through your mobile that this is you, and then it will let you in. So I've put a couple of links in there to help you. As long as you're on an Apple device with iOS 10 or higher, then you can download the Google Smart Lock app in order to help you with that. And I've also added the Help Center file for how you can start doing that and how you can go about asking your Google admin to help you set that up. But just to confirm, in order to set this service up, your Google admin person does need to turn that on in their console. So it's really important that if you want to do this, that you have that conversation with the leadership at your school to make sure, because although it's a really awesome feature, there are of course a few downsides, as in, like, it takes getting used to. It's an extra step that will take more time, especially in the beginning for students. So there's a lot of things to think about. Maybe it's something you want to turn on for the older students, not for the younger ones. So it really needs that bigger conversation. But I did want to let everybody know that it's there, because security is such an important um, feature to be aware of and to consider as you're using Google for work or for personal. Okay, so without getting technical, that's all I want to say about that. Those files are there to help you if you like. Let's go back to the next update. All right, number 9. G Suite add-ons available in Calendar, Gmail, and Drive. Okay, so it was a toss-up between the send emails as attachments and this one for my favorite. This one is coming in number 2 for me personally, but it may come in number 1 for you guys. On the right-hand side of, like, your Calendar, Gmail, or Drive, you'll notice that there's always been 3 options. Actually, you can see them now on my screen. There's the calendar, there's Google Keep, and there's tasks. So now, which is coming out, is scheduled to release up to 15 days from the 21st of January. So for myself, as you can see from the screen recording, it's not been released to the GEG Amman account yet. It may be released in your school, but it will be coming out very soon. And basically there'll be a plus button where you can add more. And I've listed on the left-hand side in the what's new, some of the add-ons that you're going to be able to add. What I really love, I'm finding I'm saying this a lot, how much I love all of these updates, but it's really good. Google's really intuitive. They really listen to their customer feedback, and it's just so nice to see all of the plethora of updates they're always giving users. So I guess that's why I'm excited. Also, as an avid user, this gives me more options. Okay, so when the plus button appears underneath the taskbar, you'll be able to add the ones that I've listed on the left. And then underneath that, I've basically explained that if your Google admin person would like to add others, that there's a way for them to do that by building their own add-on list to add down the right-hand side. So this is awesome. It really allows an entire organization to personalize for their organization what kind of add-ons they would like to see on the right. Kind of like you personalize your own Chrome extensions at the top, so now it's going to be available that way. So if you'd like to read about the marketplace, I've linked that in on the bottom left, and you can read about it there. And of course, you have those lovely G Suite gifts to help you understand as well. Okay, do we have any questions from our viewers, or are we good? I'd like to say thumbs up, but it's not a Hangout, so if I don't see any questions, I'll keep going. I think we just have one more now. Okay. Oh, originality reports and rubrics. Woo! Okay, so this is not my favorite one, I have to say. Okay, it does come third on my list for January updates, but I know it made so many educators and leaders happy when they heard about this. I was at the BET conference in the UK the last week, and when they announced this at the Google booth at BET, everybody was super excited. So there was a beta program. Beta is where certain users for a service can sign up to trial it so that the developers can get feedback from them before they roll it out to the entire organization users. So basically, this had been rolled out, I guess, almost a year ago now. I wasn't part of that beta, but it's cool that it's available for everybody now. So they're going to roll it out over 15 days, a scheduled release, and it's going to start on February 13th. So you may not see it until the middle of the month of February, or maybe even a little bit later than that, but it is coming. So I've basically detailed on the left-hand side what originality reports is, but it basically just makes sure that I see your comment, Ahmed. I'll come right back to you in a second as soon as I finish the sentence, okay? All right, so the originality reports are basically options to make sure that the work that was done by students is original, hence originality report. So it lets you know if there's anything against, like plagiarism, if there's anything copied. So for educators, there is a maximum. You can only use an originality report for up to 3 times. Want to be choosy, I guess you would say, about that. If you're using G Suite for Education Enterprise, you have unlimited rounds. So you need to, again, check with your school to see if your account is set for G Suite for Education, just the free version, or the Enterprise Education version. For students are luckier. So I really like this too, because Google's saying, you know what, students deserve a chance, and we need to give students the benefit of the doubt, right, guys? Students are not always like, oh, trying to scam out of assignments and trying to just copy everything and get it done quickly. No, their students work really hard and they're doing their best. And sometimes they may write things after they've read a paragraph or a page, may type it in their own words, and maybe it sounds a lot like what they just read, right? So they're able to run this originality report against the work that they've done to see if there's any instances in their work where citation would be needed or rewording, etc. And they can do that for free. So this is really good. Students can run it 3 times before submitting an assignment. So this is wonderful for students, really helping them make sure that they're doing okay when they hand in their assignments. Okay, and if you would like to learn about that, it's the #1 link in the Google Help link that I've put, turn on originality reports. And then the second part of that is rubrics. So I'm sure as educators, everybody knows what rubrics are. It's just one form that you could mark an assignment. Usually you see it in columns from, not done so well to superstar. Completed assignment, and then all the different criteria of your work on the left. So you could either color coordinate it or circle it, etc. So this is what it looks like in digital in Google Classroom, and it will be available the same date as originality reports. So you'll see that out there, and you'll be able to see how you can turn it on and off and how you can sync it with your grades in Google Classroom. So it's wonderful. I'm sure there's going to be loads of educators that are really happy about that. Okay, so I'm going to pause there. I'm going to come over here to Ahmed's question. Ahmed, let me read what you wrote. There are many add-ons in the calendar that you can add. Zoom, UAE and other Hangouts meeting. Yes, that is correct. So your domain may already have access to those extra ones. So for example, you can see mine on the right-hand side. I don't have the plus button. So there are still some domains in our region, like myself, who don't have access to that yet. But because you are also a user of enterprise, etc., and businesses, that could be the reason yours has been turned on already. So that's fantastic. Congratulations. And then as far as regions like the UAE and other countries in the Middle East, with Hangouts meeting being blocked, yes, you're correct. And I don't believe it's just Google Hangouts meeting. I believe things like Skype doesn't work in some regions. I know when I was in Egypt trying to Skype over here to Jordan, it was blocked. So I think that's just down to the country and who, what the country's rules are. And I don't really think there's anything that Google can do about that. But it's really good feedback. And I think it's important that we send that feedback. So as Google admins, we can share that feedback with them. As a non-corporate person, I really don't know how that works between Google and the countries, but it's always good to get feedback, right? And then if Google's ever able to help us out with things like that, then I'm sure they will, because they're super helpful. Okay, your second comment. Does that answer the first comment okay? If he's still there. Okay, I'm going to move on to your second one, if and while you type. Okay, you said the add-ons are working in those regions. It's a question, and can we use it through the calendar? So yes, you will be able to use the add-ons through those apps. And are they available in those regions? That is a really good question. I guess it is going to depend on the add-on and if it is available in each country. Personally, this looks like it's going to be a per case uses, so we will have to see with the country and Google. We'll definitely, get on with Google support and ask them so that we can figure that out. We'll learn together. We can maybe build a list and share that out with our Middle Eastern crew so that people know actually maybe you and I can do that together, and then we can get on with Google support. So yeah, that's a great project for us. Really good question. Is that okay? All right, awesome. Okay, so that's it for the main updates. There were just some Google admin updates, so Ahmed and I can discuss that together after. And that's it for the regular updates. So the next thing on the list, we've got about 15 minutes left of the webinar. I don't know how I managed to do this when it's translated. I guess that's why the last one went over a little bit. I'm going to have to figure out a way to talk less, perhaps. You guys can let me know. Okay, so there's two things. There's the Q&A, but I've kind of been doing that as we go, so we might be able to pass over that one. The next one is Googley-Treats. So we'll hop on down to page number 17. So this is something that I've actually been working on for a bit. I was inspired by the Ditch Summit that I participated in digitally over the Christmas holidays. And we were looking at icon boarding. And I know I shared that with GEG Amman on the last webinar session last month about how we could use icons around the boards. So I kind of took a little bit about that idea, and I took a speech bubble and I took the Bitmoji and I did a little bit of apps matching. And I said, how can we make feedback more engaging for students? So as educators, you may be pretty good, or maybe that's something that you're developing, is providing feedback to students that are working on their assignments or that have handed in an assignment. So as you know, through Google Docs, for example, we can give feedback by typing a comment inside the Google Doc, post a comment to the right. We can highlight in the doc itself. We can add text in a different color. There's a lot of things we can do there. And we can also add private comments if the Google Doc has gone through Google Classroom as the learning management system. So there's a lot of ways that you can do it. So the question is it engaging for students, for them to share and receive feedback that way with the teacher? And why is it only available to the teacher? Are there benefits for giving feedback from student to student? So I believe the answer is yes. So I wanted to share something with you that I created just recently. Actually, I'm going to be doing another talk on it bigger. So I'm just giving you a little snippet of it in today's webinar. But basically the importance of peer feedback between students. So if this is something that you're interested to set up in your classroom, it can be done verbally. So maybe you have students working in small groups together around the classroom. Maybe you have them working if you have like one-to-one devices, you can have them at their devices and you can put them into groups and give them like a shared document to work through for feedback. There are loads of things you can do. So this one in particular is using Google Slides. So you could set up to share a Google slide exactly like I'm showing you right now in the webinar. This is a Google slide presentation. So you could curate all the students' work. So let's say, for example, there's work of a student on each of these Google slides, as you see here in the picture. So on the left, this is one example of student work. And then on the right-hand side at the top is another page of another student work. So you basically curate it, or you share the Google slide out to all the students in the class with edit mode, and you let them add their work that they've done in the lesson onto each slide. You can organize it by alphabetical order, or perhaps the culture in your classroom is already set where students know that if someone's already working in the slide, then they go to the next one. It all depends on where you're at in your digital learning journey with your class. However, have students put in their work, or maybe they've submitted their work to you through a Google Classroom assignment and you have everybody's work. So maybe as an educator, you could even take each piece of work and curate it one slide at a time into one single Google slide. So you would basically put the students' work on one side, and then in the other side, you just divide it with boxes. You add a little speech bubble, as you see here in the Google slide. And then you can either put the person's name, or here I've used the Chrome extension called Bitmoji, if you've heard of it before. And students can create their own Bitmojis, and it can be constructive feedback for the person on the left-hand side. So if the students have given you some of their Bitmojis before, you could curate them onto one Google slide, which is what I've shown you on the bottom right-hand side here, and then students can just copy and paste, just like icon boarding, into the slide that they're providing feedback to. Or students can add their own around the outside of the Google slide, like you see in the top slide, and then again, they can just drag and drop or copy and paste in. So there are lots of different ways you can set it up. But the main idea is that students are personalizing their feedback for their classmate. So yes, it can be done verbally. Yes, it can be done digitally on an iPad or tablet or a phone even, and then sent it to someone. It can be done through email. This is just one visual, engaging way that students can share feedback. So then the student who's providing the constructive feedback would just type in the comment box. And then because everybody's already shared in the Google slide, once everybody's done their work, they can go back to their own slide to read what the other person has said. What's really nice as an educator, you can either set up to have students leave their name. Maybe their Bitmoji does look exactly like them, so they would know also, or you can make it anonymous. The whole idea is this is one way that you can have students engage with feedback to each other. The most amazing thing that I get as feedback from students when we do this in class is that students always say how much fun they have with this because they can actually get creative. It's almost like creating a second piece of content, but you're doing something that is helping a friend, right? So not only have they been inspired by being able to view everybody else's work to get more ideas, but they can also celebrate their friends, and then they can also provide constructive feedback that they know is going to help them to improve their work. So yeah, this is a great little way. I hope that gives you a little bit of inspiration of something that you can do with your students in the class. Maybe you are a teacher trainer, and this is even something that you can set up to do with teachers. I find that often activities that we set for teachers as we're educators also inspire them then to go and create things for their students in their own class. So have a lot of fun with this. Play around with it. If it inspires you to move forward, please share your examples with us through GEG Amman, through the social channels that I showed you at the beginning. We'd love to hear how you've used any of these things. Maybe you did choice learning or icon boarding or Google Goals from the last webinar. Maybe you're going to have a go with feedback. If you're sharing it on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, please tag GEG Amman and let us know how it goes. It'll be super excited. The more we share, the more we care, right? So as we grow with Google across Amman, Jordan, and beyond, it'll be really awesome the more students we can help. So definitely share as much as you can. So we have about 7 minutes left, but I think we'll maybe be able to end it early unless anybody has any questions. Definitely thank you, Ahmed, for joining. I know we had a few other viewers. We'll see how it goes for day of the week. We'll probably try and pick a day in the month of February that'll be in the middle of the week. So we'll see if that works better for people as well until we find a more stable day. But I hope that's helped everybody learn about some of the new feature releases this month and a little bit about thinking about, peer feedback and how students can engage with that and really start reflecting, using metacognition to think about why they're doing things and how, etc. So I will ask again if there are any questions. If there are, please feel free to list them in the chat window so that I can answer those for you. And if there's not any questions, I might go ahead and add the question that Ahmed asked actually. Ahmed, I don't know if you know, but the link at the top of the chat window there, that's the link to Ahmed. Oh, that's the other Ahmed. Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining us. We're just about to finish. I don't know when you joined us, but I'm super glad to see you. And the session is recorded, so it'll post immediately after we finish to YouTube, so you can definitely watch it there as well. But it's really nice to see you. I'm just going to type in this question. So if either of you have any questions you want to ask me while I'm typing that, feel free to add it in the chat window. We still have 6 minutes, so I'm not rushing. Go ahead. Yes, there are two Ahmeds on the call. There is Ahmed, the new Ahmed that we met at the training day from iSolutions, who just became a trainer. And then we have Ahmed from the UNRWA schools. Both of you are on the call today. So that's great. I'm just going to type in the other one. Can we use the add-ons through the Google Calendar app? Great. So we are going to look into those together. And then the last slide we have here is to join GEG Amman. So we are slowly growing. And it's really exciting because it's just brand new here. And it seems that everywhere I go in the country, there's always people that have no idea about Google, except that it's a search engine where you can find cool stuff. So Google developers for Google search are doing an awesome job. And for Google for Education, we just need to keep spreading the word and getting it out there because it really is changing the lives of kids down here and making learning more engaging, more accessible everywhere that they have access to Wi-Fi. So it's just really amazing. So if you would like to join GEG Amman and you're interested in getting started with Google at your school, or you're already using Google at your school and you would like to join GEG Amman, or maybe you're joining us from a different country and you would like to join GEG Amman also to see how it's going on down here in the Middle East, maybe try and collaborate, cross trainers, that's always something we can look into later, cross schools, cross educators, etc. Then please go ahead and click on the link in the icon for GEG Amman. There's the registration form so we can add you to all of our social media platforms. And if you are joining us from another area, maybe any of my other colleagues from Egypt or any other trainers that I've connected with around the world, please join. I know that I often join trainer and GEG leader Eric Kurtz in Ohio. He does an amazing job with his GEG and he inspired my webinar Start with GEG Amman here. So it is really nice to just hop on around the world, just like we're always telling teachers and students, and see what everybody's doing and be inspired by the awesome work that is going on around the world with Google. So definitely join us and we look forward to joining you. So I will just ask again, lastly, if there are any further questions before we close the call in 2 minutes. or if you would like to say anything, feel free to type it in the right-hand side. I'm watching the chat. Believe it or not, I have organized my tabs according to what I can see. Very proud of myself. It only took me like a quarter of the time to set the live stream up today as it took last time, so that's good news. We are making progress. I'm about to write a blog post on EdTech agility soon, using myself as prime example, trying to learn new tools all the time. So yeah, it's important to be always learning because technology is changing so quickly all the time. You're welcome, Ahmed. So I'm going to close the call soon, but if you want to get on a Google Hangout with me after, I can just give you the admin console updates if you want. I don't know if you have time or if you have 5 or 10 minutes, let me know. If not, we can email. Just let me know either way. So I'll go back to the top of the presentation so everybody can see now the social media handles. Oh, we have somebody else that's joined in the last minute. Rooks Forever. I don't know who that is, but welcome. And I really love your big smile emoji. Or maybe that's Ahmed and you changed your YouTube handle. Nope, it's somebody else. Okay, so Ahmed, you and I can do a hangout together in a couple of minutes. That's cool. I don't know who the user Rooks Forever is, but you have a big smile. So big smile and thumbs up back to you. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us wherever you're joining us from. I'm always so excited to see that people are interested to learn all about Google and get their Googly on with us. So thank you for being part of our team and joining us live this evening. Tamina! Oh, yay! Tamina is one of my awesome superstar colleagues from work, from the school that I work at. Tamina, were you here for the whole call? That is so awesome. Yay. And to be fair to Tamina, she has been contacting me each month, the last 2 webinars, to let me know that she was either traveling or whatnot over the holidays. She wasn't able to join. So it was really nice that she was able to join us on this call. I hope you're able to check it out. If not, you can check the recording again after and just scan through the parts that are relevant. Tamina is a rock star math teacher in our secondary school who has been using Google for Education in super innovative ways in her math class. So super happy to have her in GEG Amman and at the school. She's helping students out a lot. And thank you to all of you for joining. So I'm going to close the call now then. It's 9:01, so that is the hour done. And thanks again to everybody for coming out. And I will just share in the YouTube link again, the link for this, hold on, for the agenda. There you go. That's the link for the agenda, guys. It's now in the YouTube again so that you have it. And you can also scroll through the Google Slides. It's set to view only. Yeah, super cool, right? The email attachments, that was like my #1 favorite thing, right? Super cool. Yeah. There's a few others in there as well. You might actually really like the originality reports and rubrics. Actually, I don't know how you're marking in your class, Tamina, but that's something that a lot of educators really enjoy using. So check that out as well. And yeah, if you are doing anything cool, please share it and tag us so that we can celebrate the awesome Googliness that is happening around Amman, Jordan. So that's it for today for me. So thank you for putting up with English for the whole hour. I apologize to our Jordanian or other Arabic speaking folk. And hopefully my partner in crime will be joining us again next week after they are finished with their holidays. So wishing everybody a super awesome Friday evening in the Middle East as it's the middle of the weekend. So enjoy your day off tomorrow. And to everyone else, enjoy the beginning of your weekend tomorrow. And yes, Ahmed, I'll send you the Hangout invite. You didn't reach home. Why don't you go ahead and send me a Google Hangout invite then when you reach home and I will hop on with you, okay? Yay. Oh, wow, you watched it at 2 times the speed. That is impressive, Tamina. Not that I'm surprised. Super rock star you, wallahi. Okay, awesome. So Ahmed, you're going to send me a Google Hangout invite and we will close the call now. Yay. Okay. Have a great weekend, everybody, and see you next month. Oh, I almost forgot in my excitement of people joining at the last minute. So next month, we're going to try the Google Hangout in the middle of the week. I'm just going to pull up my calendar now. We'll do it instead of the last day of the month of February, which is actually on a Saturday. We'll do it in the middle of the week. So we'll do it, let's try on a Wednesday, the 26th of February. So we'll try a Wednesday and see how that day goes for everybody. So you can mark your calendars now and I will share that out on social. So the next webinar will be Wednesday, the 26th of February. And we're also going to host a training event, which will be in one of the last 2 weeks of February. So stand by if you'd like to join that. We'll have beginner, intermediate, and advanced training sessions at the King Hussein Business Park. So for those of you who'd like to come on out and get your Googly on for more tips and tricks, then you can do that. And we're also going to have our next social meetup because everybody loves social. And I want to oh, I almost gave away my surprise. I want to do something really cool to celebrate all of the achievements of everybody who achieved their L1, L2, and trainer certification. So we need to have a meetup so we can talk about that on the social thread either for February or March, as long as we have it by March so we don't leave the celebrations too late. Yeah? All right, cool. So join us. We're waiting for everybody and good luck with your googly stuff. All right, take care. Bye.